Well, they say good things come to those who wait, and look at the weather we have here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's the IMSA VP Racing SportsCar Challenge, race one of two of the weekend, and this is the third event weekend for this championship in 2024. It couldn't come at a more challenging racetrack than the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Brand new racing surface here. And, man, these competitors cannot wait to get at it. 13 weeks since the last time they raced in St. Petersburg, and now here to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, right in the middle of the state of Ohio, just south of Cleveland. And this racetrack has been providing spectators with some great action for years. You look at it, that front straight through turn one, fastest corner on the racetrack, and then down into the keyhole. The keyhole, good passing opportunity, and that leads you on to really the only long straightaway here, and even it has a kink in it. Hard braking, good overtaking into turn four, through Madness, and then through Thunder Valley, into the carousel, and around and complete a lap here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brian Till, along with Jeremy Shaw. We'll bring you all the action and expect plenty of it. A brand new racing surface here. It has provided really good grip for these drivers, and I think consistency on longer tire runs as well, Jeremy.
Yeah, good morning, Brian, and everybody. Great to have you with us here at Mid-Ohio. Beautiful weather here as well. Yeah, the track surface, people I've been talking to saying it's beautiful. It's really smooth, much more smooth than it used to be, but not as much grip as had been expected. Generally, when tracks get repaved, they pick up an enormous amount of grip. That doesn't seem to be the case here, Brian, but everybody seems pretty happy. And as you say, tire degradation pretty minimal.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of those things that right now the track, Jeremy, is really sensitive to temperature. This morning, definitely a lack of grip, not a lot of sun on the racetrack, but it's a really nice dark color, and it's going to hold that temperature that it gains from the sun throughout the day. And we may see times even faster in the race than what we saw in qualifying.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because as you say, once the sun starts beating down, a bit more track temperature there, and it helps these Michelin tires really gain more grip. And we've seen, I speak to several people as this weekend has progressed, and you know, the lap times they've been turning during the practice sessions yesterday weren't nearly as good as they were when they were here testing a week or so ago. So somewhat fair few people scratching their heads a bit, but look, this is race time now. Let's get on with it, and no excuses from here on out.
Well, you always scratch your head when you come to a racetrack, right? It's never quite the way that you want it to be. You're always chasing something, and I think as this track has gotten rubbered in, you know, the drivers are chasing it a little bit there. So VP Racing Sports Car Challenge, two different classes of cars. The P3 category based on the LMP3 based prototype, really neat race car. Should be a lot of fun around this racetrack. And then GSX, GT4 based cars, just like you would see in Michelin Pilot Challenge, but single driver format, sprint race, 45 minutes long, and that always brings excitement, Jeremy, and a really good field here with Jagger Jones leading things off.
Yeah, right, we've got a field of 22 cars. We've got 9 in the LMP3 category and 13 in GSX. And if we look at the qualifying took place earlier on this morning in GSX, it is the McLaren for Motorsports in action with Jesse Lazare from Canada on the pole position. That's car number 21, that lone McLaren Artura GT4 in the field. Second position, making his debut in this championship, young Josh Green for Thay's Competition in his Mercedes-AMG GT4. It's car number 78. The second row, guy who was quickest in practice yesterday, Luca Mars from Pennsylvania in the Core Motorsports Ford Mustang. And then the best of the Aston Martins, that's Ruckus Racing Scott Blind, who will start fourth, and best of the Bronze Cup contenders. So, and then it's a phalanx of BMWs. There's 5 BMWs in a row, led by last year's Michelin Pilot Challenge Series champion, Vin Barletta, making his run here for Turner Motorsports. So 5 different cars on the front of the field in GSX. In LMP3, it's all Ligier JSP 320 cars in the field, except for one. That will be the Duquesne for Fast MD Racing with M-Star, car number 87. That's driven by Jagger Jones, and it's Jagger Jones who will start on the pole position in that car number 87. Stephen Agakani, the championship leader for MLT Motorsport, starts alongside on the front row.
Should be a great race here between those two young guns. Jagger Jones on the pole in that dark colored prototype, the Duquesne chassis, as you talked about, Jeremy, the 87, the number 6, the teal and silver Ligier alongside, waiting to get into the start zone. Jagger Jones and Aga Khani squeezing him down a little bit. Games being played already. Jagger Jones in the throttle, green flag flies, racing at Mid-Ohio. VP Racing Sports Car Challenge down the straightaway into turn 4, and Aga Khani wisely slipping in behind Jones as they get down to the brake zone.
Yeah, I think Jagger Jones was probably thinking, what are you playing at there, trying to crowd me as the pole sitter? I'll show you, and he did. He got a great start, led the field down at the end of that straightaway. He's got a healthy lead as they head through the this really tricky section of the racetrack here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Yeah, they call this area madness, and you can see why. Right, left. You really have no time to rest right now. Drivers really just trying to get these tires up to temperature, up to pressure, so they can get the grip that they need. And you see the two classes there. Prototypes first through Thunder Valley and into the carousel, and a good battle in GSX behind with the McLaren of Jesse Lazar from the pole on point.
Yeah, and as is traditional here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the race started on the back stretch here, but we've now completed the first lap. The clock started. This is a 45-minute race. The clock started as they crossed what will be the finish line, and then they took the actual start race half a lap later. So it's already now one lap in the books. Jagger Jones leads from Stephen Agacani. Miguel Villagomez in the best of the Bronze Cup category in the LMP3 contingent, car number 23 for Escuderia Abro in third position at car number 23.
On that long shot, watching the prototype field, the P3s come into the keyhole, back at the back of the order, kind of the tail of the dog. You can see Seth Lucas still weaving his P3 Ligier back and forth, trying to find temperature in those tires and get them up to temperature so he can go and do battle. First time we've seen Seth Lucas in the series in 2024. And it's a great lineup of drivers. You look at that young talent up front, Jagger Jones, Stephen Agacani, Villagomez, Jordan Minzen, his first race in the series, and he's doing a great job running in the 4th position right now as you look back at GSX.
Yeah, and there is a McLaren leading there. Luca Mars jumps up into 2nd position in that Ford Mustang for Core Motorsports. He's got ahead of Josh Green on that opening lap. Josh Green runs in 3rd position. And then the best of the Bronze Cup categories at Scott Blind, once again running a really fine 4th position in that ruckus race in that bright yellow Aston Martin.
Well, I think about Josh Green, Jeremy, and there's a young driver predominantly known for his open wheel prowess. I think he was one of your Team USA scholarship participants. So in this Mercedes, this is kind of a different ball game. He spent a little time in GT cars, but really his upbringing has been in open wheel cars, has it not?
Very much so, yes indeed, and a really talented young man, no doubt about it. And he was working his way up the open wheel ladder, got as high as Indy, what is now Indy Next, used to be called Indy Lights. Had some strong runs there, but the budget, it was just becoming increasingly difficult to raise a budget and see what potential openings there were in the open wheel ranks. So has taken a look here at the sports cars. He made his debut in sports cars at Sebring in a round of the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, and now setting his eyes on the VP Series for the rest of this season. Just trying to build some experience in this sort of car, kind of running in 3rd position. Those top 2 just pulled away just a little bit from Josh Green, but I don't think he'll be falling back too far in this race, and looking to get back on terms with Jesse Lazar in the lead and Luca Mars in 2nd position.
Josh Green trying to get experience. The 2 cars in front of him have plenty in type. There have only been 2 winners in the 4 races in GSX in VP Racing Sports Car Challenge this year. 2 race wins for Luca Mars, 2 for Jesse Lazar, so they have owned that class so far. Now looking at the battles in the P3 category up into the keyhole, and it is so smooth up there now. First few cars have kind of checked out, down the straightaway they go, and then Jordan Minzen, what an interesting young guy, in the number 18. Very little experience, his first race in VP Racing Sports Car Challenge. He's done some historic racing in the P3 car, but not very much at all, and is really a student of the game, Jeremy. I was real impressed in talking to him, his very analytical approach, and then I looked at him and I said, what business were you in? And he said, software development. I was like, okay, I get it, right? I mean, a very analytical guy who breaks things down, and he was reasonably pleased with his qualifying effort. but he said, I want to just work on it and continue to move forward. Interestingly enough, one of his teammates, Alex Kirby, in the 7 right there behind him.
Yeah, who's got a lot more experience in these cars. Just the one race in this car for Jordan Menzin coming into this weekend. As you say, that was the HSR event at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, a month or so ago. And I spoke to him last night, Jordan, and he was really disappointed in himself. He came here a couple of weeks ago, did some testing, was really comfortable in the car. He was turning laps in a 1:18 range, which is pretty good. The pole time by Jagger Jones right on the ragged edge was a 1:18.3. Well, no, excuse me, faster than in qualifying, but the fastest time yesterday was a 1:18.3 for Jagger Jones. He got down into the high 16s in qualifying this morning, but still, he was disappointed yesterday, Jordan, with his times, only in the 20s. And I said, look, you're brand new to this sport, just get a grip. Just take things one step at a time. Don't get greedy. Do not get greedy. Just take what the track gives you, learn from the experience, and find more pace next time. And what did he do this morning? He went out and turned an 18.4 in qualifying. That's what he was more expecting to do. And look at him right now. He's got a big train of cars behind him. So we'll see how he copes with these competitors behind him. He's not used, I think, to looking in his mirrors and seeing it full of a whole bunch of other LMP3 cars.
I think you gave him the same advice that I did as this battle for third continues into the carousel. Brian Till, Jeremy Shaw with you from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Round 5 of 12 for VP Racing Sports Car Challenge as Jagger Jones leads overall in the P3 category as well, heading into the keyhole and then down the back straightaway. But this is one of the more intense battles coming into the keyhole right now. The black and white number 7 of Alex Kirby looks to the inside of his teammate. Jordan Menzin gets the job done, and Woolridge, or is that Ryan Finney, aboard the 51, is going to try to come with him. And for Jordan right now, it's a matter of just settling down and settling in. There's going to be an ebb and flow of this race. And we talk about his inexperience. He'll just have to learn, deal with that. You win some, you lose some, but you've got plenty of time to get it back. Another good battle just behind.
Yeah, it was a good pass there for position. I think it was that Seth Lucas making a move there on Jonathan Woolridge. Quite sure, but it's certainly tight there in this midfield, and that was just lack of experience there from Jordan Menzin. He looked in his mirrors going into the keyhole turn 2, and he was concentrating so much in his mirrors he forgot to brake, carried a bit too much speed in the corner, ran a bit wide, and then he got freight trained after that, so he lost himself a couple of positions. Yeah, one would have been okay, but he lost 2, which he really didn't need to do. So you just got to focus forward now. Just don't look in your mirrors, just focus forward, run the pace that you know you can run, and you should be able to stay ahead of the guys that you qualified ahead of.
One of the things this new track surface has done, Jeremy, I believe I had a chance to drive on it a couple of weeks ago, and I found that it has exceptional grip, especially in the heat of the day, and I would think that that's what these drivers are experiencing right now. But it also punishes you, because if you push just a little too hard, you go from exceptional grip to very little grip, and I think that's exactly what we saw. And our leader in GSX is in. This is unscheduled, no pit stop scheduled in VP Racing Sports Car Challenge, and Jesse Lazar has a problem aboard the 21 McLaren.
He does, doesn't he? And that is a surprise. Is he just doing a drive-through? Did he get a penalty?
Yes,
it is a penalty.
False start. I'm looking at the bottom of the timing screen. False start for Jesse Lazar. Lining up on the wrong side is what the message was. So Jesse Lazar, a costly mistake there.
Wow. And here's a side-by-side battle there. That's on the outside is the split decision motorsports car 88, Patrick Wilmot. And on the inside, that's Vin Barletta, who qualified ahead. Well, these 3 BMWs in the 3rd place of this group is Mark Brummond. And a super battle between the BMWs. They struggled, all of them, yesterday in qualifying, but Patrick Wilmot in that split decision car looks at the outside going into turn 4. Is he going to make that move stick? He's going to drive it all the way around the outside. Brilliant move there by Patrick Wilmot. Really, really impressive. But is he going to slide wide at the top of the hill? Yes, he is. But he's managed to maintain that position. There's this split decision motorsports team, a great little team out of Tennessee. Super enthusiastic bunch of people. They run these cars on a pretty tight budget, but they're very grateful for the support they have from the Genie company. Genie Garage Doors are featured on the side of that number 88 car, and that company is based only about an hour or so away here from the racetrack in Mount Hope, just to the east here, about an hour's drive. So there'll be a lot of happy folks, I think, in the stands right now cheering on that number 88 BMW.
Yeah, the BMWs with a balance of performance change coming into the weekend, and a lot of those guys feel like it has set them back. You look at the order right now: Ford, Mercedes-AMG, Aston Martin, and then the three BMWs of Patrick Wilmot, Vin Barletta, Mark Brumman that we just saw in that battle. But right now, talk about battles and GSX, the leaders in the P3 category are going to have to start working their way through, and in fact already have begun working their way through that GSX traffic. And that's one of the things I love about this series, Jeremy, is that it really gives these drivers experience. If they have their sights set on the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, it gives them that multi-class racing experience. Look at this traffic.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there. That's a great move on the inside. I think that was Ryan Finney, wasn't it, making a move there? But Jordan Menzin, I tell you what, this is a steep learning curve for the guy. As you say, it's just his second race in this sort of a car. His first ever race was just last year. That was in a GT4 car, ran some WRL races in a Toyota Supra GT4. But this is a very different kind of race car than that Toyota.
Vincent has his mirrors full of Seth Lucas on the attack. Lucas, a very experienced race car driver, has time in LMP2 machines as well as GT-based cars. Really quick young man out of Columbus, Ohio, so home track for him. And right now, really beginning to put the pressure on the back of the number 18 as they work their way through traffic. And I saw Jordan that time in the 18 at the end of the back straightaway in turn 4, perhaps a little too much attention on the car just behind of Seth Lucas, and turned in incredibly late and really left the inside wide open and almost paid the price for it, as Jagger Jones now working around the outside of Jesse Lazar. And this is the other thing for Jagger Jones. He knows who's in that McLaren. He knows it's an experienced driver in the hands of Jesse Lazar, and he can trust that he can make that move around the outside. That's the other thing these drivers are learning, who the other drivers are in the series and who can you trust and who do you need to watch out for just a little bit more.
Yeah, that's very true. Here is Jagger Jones then trying to get past Patrick Wilmot. Wilmot now running in the 4th position in GSX in that number 88 BMW. Safely allows Jagger Jones, the race leader, to go on through there, and he's made up a lot of ground here over Stephen Agakani, has Jagger Jones, while they're lapping this GSX traffic. Really good work there by young Jagger Jones. What a talent this young man is. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona, 21 years of age. Of course, Jones is synonymous with racing. His dad, PJ, was a very successful racer. His grandfather, Parnelli, of course, was a former Indy 500 route. Sadly passed away this week, but as Jagger Jones told us earlier on over the weekend, look, he would want his grandson to be racing here this weekend, and Jagger is going out there to try and do what he can to uphold that family honour. What a job he is doing at the moment. 7 seconds plus the lead now for Jagger Jones in that car number 87.
Miguel Villagomez aboard the bright orange number 23, gets past Stephen Agakani, and he uses traffic to do it. Jesse Lazar aboard the McLaren is trying to work his way forward after that penalty, so he's not handing out positions to these prototypes just at will, and Agakani having to work really hard. That battle really started way back in turn 6 and took a long time to get the job done. And then look at this. Yeah, you don't need all those bits and pieces there. Vin Barletta aboard the 97 Turner Motorsports entry looks like loses part of his splitter or a little bit of the valance in the front end of his BMW, and a problem now for Menzin. He is off near China Beach. That's down at turn 4. That's where I was talking about the really late turn in the last time by. Back underway, no harm, no foul. Let's see what happens. Same kind of deal, Jeremy. I think he's up really high, but you see that trail off the left rear tire. That skid mark starts well back into the corner, and it's almost like he began to lose it right after he turned his hand. So Just a little mistake there. We talk about the inexperience. He'll be angry at himself. You and I both know that, but you got to get back on the horse, get focused, and get back at it.
Yes, that's exactly what he's got to do here. And same with Stephen Agakani, lost that position to Miguel Villagomez. And as he works his way past Scott Blynn's Aston Martin there, running a third in the GSX class, and that kind of teal and grey or aluminum coloured Ligier JSP3 moves through cleanly to the inside, but it's been a really good run here by Miguel Villagomez, the Ecuadorian, running in second position overall, best of the Bronze Cup contenders.
Talking about Jagger Jones a little bit earlier, and yeah, Jeremy, I spoke to him yesterday. I said, I'm really sorry to hear about your grandfather, and he looked at me and he said, you know, he had a really good life and struggled a lot over the last year or so, and he's in a better place. And I said, speaking of better places, I was speaking to someone who was surprised to see it, that you might be here, and he just kind of smiled and he goes, where do you think my grandfather would want me to be? And I'm like, absolutely. There's, you know, Parnelli was a racer at heart, and Jagger is too. The whole Jones family is, and there's really no better place for Jagger to be than where he is, and that's behind the wheel of a race car, doing a great job. And talked to Villagomez earlier as well, and he said, I think our car's going to be better on a long run. And Jeremy, I think that's exactly what we're seeing. He worked his way up to and past Agakani, and that number 23, Ligier, working really well right now.
Isn't it just? Yeah, really impressively for Villagomez. I mean, he arrived at Daytona for the opening round of the season. Really, we'd never really heard of him before. He's done some racing and done a fair bit of racing in Central America, but really hasn't done much over here. At least not on the pro level. He's raced in the Farah series, which is based in South Florida primarily. But this is a big step up for him, and he's really taken to these cars really quickly and doing an excellent job. I mean, he's been consistently towards the front of the field, not quite challenging the lead of Jagger Jones on this occasion, but Stephen Agakani, let's not forget, has a healthy championship lead coming into this weekend, lead of 210 points actually over Villagomez in second position, and Villagomez is ahead now of Agakani and running lap times that are, he's just had his best lap of the race, only 18.9 last time around, and he's running an excellent pace.
You talk about the championship, and I was just looking at championship numbers as well, because I was thinking about Jagger Jones. Well, he didn't run the 2 rounds at Daytona, so he's some 670 points behind Stephen Agakani in the championship lead. But there's several drivers in front of him in the championship that are not here this weekend, so Jagger Jones stands to move well up in the championship. And I guess the question, Jeremy, is you look at 2, 4, 6, 8 more races to go, and that includes today's race. You can have a bad weekend here or there. It's early enough that if Jagger Jones continues to put these performances in, and I understand that he should be in the seat of that 87 for the rest of the season, this thing could close down if he continues to put these kinds of performances in.
Well, absolutely true, Brian. I mean, he comes in here, 570 points behind Stephen Agakani, but looking at the last round of the championship, the last 2 races, as we see there, Jesse Lazare trying to make a move on Patrick Wilmot. That's a 4th position in the GSX class. The BMW just holds on ahead of the McLaren. But on the streets of St. Pete, that was Jagger Jones' first race of the season. He swept both races there, scored a maximum of 700 points. Whereas Agakani scored a total with a 3rd and a 6th of 570, so he made up 130 points right there on one weekend. And if he can continue this dominant form at the front, then Jagger Jones should be in contention for this championship before the season's end. You're absolutely right, Brian.
Really impressed right now at the pace that Jesse Lazare has after serving that penalty and then charging back up towards the front. Patrick Wilmot in his sights, as you mentioned, Jeremy, right now as they head through turn 1. And that's what you have to do. And I think about Jordan Minzen with the problem that he had, the mistake, the spin. Jesse Lazare had that same kind of a problem. Put it behind you, focus forward, and that's exactly what Jesse Lazare is doing, trying to get back to at least a podium finish in GSX.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, you just got to do the best you can. I mean, I'm sure he'd be mad on the wheel of that car, kicking himself. He knows what the rules are in this championship, and yeah, they're the same as they are in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, which is primary focus this season for Jesse Lazare. But he's got to make sure he doesn't make that mistake tomorrow. It's very easy on that back straightaway where you take the green flag, as you talked about it at the beginning of the show, Brian. There's a kink to the right going through that corner, so that the temptation is kind of cut the corner, cut it, move across towards the right-hand side of the racetrack if you're supposed to be on the left, and or move back across the left to take the faster line through the corner. And whatever it is, you're not allowed to do, because you're not allowed to pull out of line before the green flag. So he gets the penalty, and he's now got to pay the price for it. And it's much more fun now, isn't it, having to work your way back up through the field.
Jesse Lazare really hounding Patrick Wilmot right now, and I can tell you that number 88 BMW, the silver with the blue and red highlights, headed into turn 1 right now, did not look happy to me early on, Jeremy. Car looked really loose when Wilmot was embroiled in that battle with Mark Brumman and Vin Barletta just a little bit earlier. It seems to have settled down right now, so perhaps tires just not up to pressure yet. And Aga Khani now, as I look back to turn 9, has closed back in, using some traffic to his advantage, closed back on Villa Gomez as they head to turn 11 in the carousel.
Yeah, he dropped a bit of ground there, hadn't he, Aga Khani, after being passed there, but now back into his groove and worked his way through the traffic quite nicely there to put the pressure on Villa Gomez, as we see finally Jesse Lazare makes the move on that BMW to get past Patrick Wilmot at the end of the back straightaway. That McLaren certainly is pretty fleet on the straights, and I think he took advantage of that and makes that move back up now into 4th position in the class for Jesse Lazare. And the 3rd position car, Scott Blind, isn't too far ahead of them either.
Scott Blind doing a good job in 3rd. So you got Corvette up front, Josh Green, the young open wheel standout that we talked about, doing a really good job aboard the Mercedes for Thays Racing. Then Blind on the 45, Jesse Lazare now up to 4th, and he'll have his sights set on Blind, see if he can close him down. Jagger Jones, Villa Gomez, Aga Khani, then Ryan Finney running 4th right now in the P3 category, followed by Alex Kirby. Ryan Finney really kind of making a resurgence into racing, Jeremy. We know that Finney name for years in motorsports, and Ryan, a young driver who was on his way up, hit some roadblocks with budgets along the way, just like all race car drivers tend to do, but has now really built a good program. He said, I've got about a 5-year runway ahead of me with my motorsport plan, and that is an eternity in motorsport. So we watched him do a really, really nice job aboard the P3 car at St. Pete. 2 4th place finishes, I believe, there, and now doing a good job here. Didn't qualify where he wanted, had some issues with the car in practice and qualifying. He got them sorted out, running a really good pace here, and another 4th place finish at the moment.
Yeah, indeed, and not losing any ground at all to the 2nd and 3rd place battle is Ryan Finney there in that Rick Ware Racing with Ave Motorsports number 51 Ligier. So he's running a good pace at this stage in the race, and that's exactly what he needs at this stage in the kind of return of his career, if you like.
And that was interesting. It looked like, I couldn't tell if that dive plane that Finney ran over at the exit of turn 9 was in the track or if it came off of his car, but certainly a piece of debris there. And you want to be cautious of those dive planes. They're made of carbon fiber. When they're solid, they're not as big of an issue, although they can obviously cut down a tire, but when they shatter and get sharp edges on them, they become like a knife. So something he needs to be aware of, all the drivers need to be aware of there at the exit of turn 9.
Yeah, very true. Here is so he's finally made that move, then up into 3rd position now for Jesse Lazare, and now Patrick Wilmot has caught up to Scott Blind as well. So that bright yellow Aston Martin, it was under pressure from a McLaren, but now he's got a BMW looming large in his mirrors as they head onto the back straightaway one more time.
Round 5 of the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge 2024 season continues from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course, and great racing through the 2 different classes that make up the series. P3, the LMP3 prototype machines, as we just watched Stephen Aga Khani get back past Miguel Villagomez aboard the number 23 Ligier, that bright orange machine, as they head down to turn 4. Aga Khani using some traffic, but he seems to have found another gear, so to speak, Jeremy. He has not only gotten back to Villagomez, but man, an aggressive move there, does the big pop, opens the door just a little bit, and when Villagomez doesn't shut it, he takes advantage, places that number 6 just where it needs to be, and takes the position.
Oops, there's a spin there for Eddie Colleen. That's the second of the phase competition. Mercedes, car number 37, was running a little bit farther down the field, and his teammate Josh Green, who's still running in a pretty lonely second position in the class. Well, she's closed in somewhat over the last few laps. Looking to the inside there, that's the number 17 Porsche of Will Wax. And all of them make a little bit of contact up at the top of the hill there, Keel. Yeah, that's a bit optimistic from Will, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'd love to see the shot from the side again, because in that tails away shot, if they're side by side, it's not optimistic. It's like, what are you doing moving over on me because I'm here? But I couldn't really tell. Get that shot again. We'll take a look at it and see. But it doesn't really matter, because Freddie Colleen around the 37 goes, and that's going to cost him time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, he's going a bit
like
fast.
You said, maybe a little optimistic on the part of Walks.
Yeah. I think just carried a little bit too much speed into the braking zone, and looks like he's come off worse as well as Will. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, so
From
Will
Independence, Ohio, so local driver then. Will, this is his home track. Oops.
Whoops, yeah.
It's a completely different incident there. Maybe has he picked up a puncture perhaps after that contact, maybe on the other side of the car. Looks like he's pulled it off into a safe position.
It's the great thing about this racetrack, and a lot of racetracks today, they've done such a good job of allowing drivers with mechanical issues to get off and allow the racing to continue. That's what we just saw there. Patrick Wilmot now all over the back of that bright yellow number 45 Aston Martin. Scott Blend in front and Wilmot by, and he's going to make it stick. So for Patrick Wilmot to see that car get loose, I'm telling you, Jeremy, it's not a happy BMW that Patrick Wilmot is behind the wheel of right now, but he has moved it into the 4th position, so at least a decent position right now. We'll see if he can hold it to the end with 17 minutes to go from Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, really good progress I think he's made. He wasn't happy with the setup of the car yesterday. Just they thought they didn't quite have the car right, so they made a few changes to the car overnight, and they were going to kind of make those changes and hope that it worked. But it certainly seems to be working. He's certainly got good pace now as Patrick Wilmot compared to the other BMWs in this race. Got about half a second on them in terms of outright best lap in this race. He's still at 1 minute 28.2 in this race, in that caliber 88, and his best time in qualifying was a 29.0, so a good improvement there for Patrick Wilmot in caliber 88.
Saw the 61 of Seth Lucas. He started 8th, has moved his way up to 6th. And while he knows this racetrack, we talked about the fact, and a little wide there, manages to hold on, gets on by Patrick Wilmot. But this is what I was talking about earlier, Jeremy. This racetrack rewards you for being aggressive, but you take the smallest step over the line and it will bite you in a hurry. And I think that move around the outside of a GSX car is nothing too dramatic. Seth probably had about a half a mile an hour too much, and all of a sudden you saw that Ligier chassis get really upset. Lucas slid out wide. He did a fantastic job of catching it. But if that was a battle with a prototype, he would not have come away with that position at that point in time.
Yeah, true that. And yeah, we've seen some sort of ebbing and flowing in terms of pace during this race. Jagger Jones, he's pretty serene out front. Just turned a couple of personal best sector times actually in that number 87 car running out front. A little bit farther back in the 6th position, Seth Lucas, the youngster from Powell, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. So home race for him, probably about 45 minutes from his home, and picking up experience. He's only been racing for a couple of years. I mean, look, he's got a big future ahead of him, just 18 years of age, making his debut in this championship. He's driven all sorts of different cars in different series over the last couple of years, but I think I'd like to see him concentrate on something, to be perfectly honest, and really kind of build some championship momentum in something. He's running in 6th place right now here, which isn't what he wants, but he's turning some good laps at the moment and closing in on Alex Kirby. He's only about a second or so ahead of him.
Jagger Jones leads here at Mid-Ohio in VP Racing Sports Car Challenge. That black and red number 87, the Duquesne chassis, almost has a sinister look as it attacks the hills here and valleys at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Through Thunder Valley goes Jagger Jones through turn 11 and towards the carousel. Love the names of different parts of the racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. It's always been a favorite, and now starting to work his way through. That's Jordan Minzen, who had the problem earlier. And for Jordan, he doesn't want to go down a lap, because if you've got a full course caution, yeah, maybe it kind of brings you back to the fight. But with the pace that Jones is running right now, it may not take long to get that job done. Out of the carousel.
Yeah, this is this battle
down
here
the front
between
straightaway. That's the 7 of Alex Kirby, trying to keep Seth Lucas behind him right now. You were just talking about Seth a moment ago, Jeremy.
Yeah, and the number 7 car, a bit confusing there with the black front and the right rear. It was pretty much all white at the beginning of the weekend, but unfortunately off in the first section, an accident in the first session yesterday of practice for Alex Kirby, so that Performance Tech Motorsports team had to put on a different nose which doesn't match the rest of the car. So it kind of confused me a little bit looking at the black on the front of it, but the car behind him, there's no mistake in that one. That is Seth Lucas, who's closed in right now on that battle. He's turning some good laps. A 1 minute 19.4 last time around for Seth Lucas. It was only a 1/10 of a second away from his best lap of this race. Talking of best laps, a new fastest lap turned last time around by Stephen Agakani in second position, a 1 minute 18.1.
Jagger Jones still holding that lead, a sizable lead. Being shown at just over 8 seconds right now, and that's kind of that ebb and flow of traffic. And for Jones, he knows that good pace is what he needs to run. Villa Gomez and that bright orange 23 working his way past the number 59. That is the leader in the GSX category, Luca Mars. And remember, go back to Daytona International Speedway, where we started the season, where Luca Mars made it 2 for 2, had the perfect weekend there. And it was almost too perfect because they really got hammered with some BOP shortly after that, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's true. The car was a bit too fast, wasn't it? This new second generation Mustang GT4 car for this Core Motorsports team. Dean Martin, one of the principals there at Core Motorsports, he's got a massive amount of experience running Fords over the years. He's a former Ford development engineer himself, so he knows a lot about these cars. And young Luca Mars, just 18 years of age, from just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Again, a big future ahead of him. He was, I guess it was a couple of years ago now, he made his debut in the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. He was too young to take part in the first race of the season, hadn't yet reached his 16th birthday. So he's been racing now a couple of years, now aged 18, and you know, showing just how much he's developed. I think it's a really good decision by him and the team to run this series. He's also running in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, so he'll be taking part in the 4-hour race tomorrow. But this just gives him extra mileage in the same sort of car he's going to be driving tomorrow. And he's really using this experience as it should be to you know, build his knowledge base and just become a stronger driver. But even now, I mean, he's got a handy lead at the moment, but not too far behind him. Only, what, 4 seconds or so behind him is that Thay's competition Mercedes, the kind of dark green and gold car. He's holding position there, is Josh Green. Not challenging him, certainly, but not losing any ground either.
One of the impressive things about the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge is the young drivers that it has attracted, because they want to make a name for themselves. They want the additional track time for sure, but it has brought a level of competition that I think a lot of people did not expect here, and it has shown that it is a destination for young drivers like Josh Green, who want to step out of their normal open wheel background, explore the sports car side of things. For Luca Mars, who, like you said, at Sebring a couple of years ago was too young to compete at Daytona, so his debut was at Sebring, and it was a stellar debut. For Jagger Jones, Stephen Agakani, Miguel Villagomez, Ryan Finney. I mean, Alex Kirby, you look at these guys, they all want to move up. They want to make a name for themselves. And when you've got that kind of hungry young talent competing here, as well as a lot of bronze drivers who want to compete for their bronze championship in class, it makes the competition really, really good. You watch a good battle head through and down into madness through 4, 5, 6 down into madness. That's the battle between the 25, the BMW, and just behind him, that was Vin Barletta in the 97, I believe.
Yeah.
So Brummond having a good run and moving back to the battle for 4th. Ryan Finney has it, or wants it, I should say, and just in front of him, Alex Kirby holding it down.
Yeah,
so Kirby in the 7, Finney, this position has changed.
Done a really good job there as Ryan Finney. You talked about it a little while ago. He just set his best lap a couple of laps ago, and now moved. They are. Seth Lucas is making a challenge to the inside. Goes him on Alex Kirby. Good move there.
That was impressive. That was impressive, Jeremy. I mean, to make that move into turn 9, it takes full commitment, and that's what we just saw right there. And I think it actually took Alex Kirby by surprise. All of a sudden, as he started to turn in, he realized that there was a car there. Good on him to realize that, to sense that the car was there, but that was a powerful, powerful move.
It was, wasn't it? Really, really good. And I was actually just looking at a few minutes ago at the, just looking at the scoring particularly. The battle for third and fourth had heated up. Ryan Finney had caught right up with Villagomez, but he's now lost a bit of ground, as we see on the scoring last time around. So he must have made a mistake or had a bit of an oopsie trying to get past some slower cars perhaps, but that was a great move there by Seth Lucas. Moved himself up into the top 5, and Alex Kirby will try and see if he can make a bit of a comeback.
And good move. I gave credit, I think, to Ryan Finney. It was actually Seth Lucas, as you pointed out. Teammates, they have that, well, not teammates, they have that same dark colored front end, and they both of the numbers ended in 1, so it was a little confusing for me there.
Yeah.
So it was one of those deals where Lucas, that was a powerful move. You don't see that pass all too often into turn 9, and to do it, it's got to be full commitment. And for Seth Lucas, that's what he laid on the table, and he comes away with the position.
Here is Ryan Finney. Then he's lost ground. He's kind of stuck now behind the lapped car of Jordan Menzin, and that's enabled Miguel Villagomez in that orange and blue car to pull away. He just headed into the keyhole now. He looks to the inside, Ryan Finney, but no way. Oh, okay, fine. So Menzin goes a little bit wide, and Ryan Finney finally makes that pass happen. It wasn't the pass 4 position. It was just an opportunity now to try and close down that gap once again to Villagomez. Meanwhile, a couple of fastest laps of the race. A couple of laps ago, it was a race leader, Jagger Jones, who had a new best lap. Now, this time around, it's Stephen Agakani in second position. 1:17.6 there for the second place car of Stephen Agakani.
I think for Jordan Menzin, a little bit of damage to the left front as well, so that car probably not as quick in a straight line as it had been after his problems early on. So he'll deal with that. Meanwhile, Jagger Jones has little to deal with other than traffic, and you have those magical weekends sometimes, Jeremy, where everything just works the way that you want it to. And I believe for Jagger Jones, that Duquesne underneath him right now has done everything that he has asked of it and done it very, very well. You talk about the lap times being good, and as we close in on the 5-minute mark, Jones just needs to keep his focus forward. He's continued to extend that lead. This is no time to be complacent, kind of take your eye off the ball a little bit, because if you do, you can find yourself in trouble in a hurry.
Yeah, for Jagger Jones, I mean, he's just pacing himself at this stage in the race. The gap to the second place car, well over 10 seconds, so comfortable here for Jagger Jones. All he's got to do is just keep his wits about him. Only 5 minutes remaining. 29 laps now in the books for him, coming out to complete his 30th as he comes up to put another lap on the third place car in GSX. That's the McLaren of Jesse Lazar. But it's been a perfect drive here from Jagger Jones. Just turning fast laps when he needs to, just to kind of keep himself in the game, so to speak, because he's under no pressure whatsoever at the front of the field.
And I'll call it controlled aggression as well in traffic, Jeremy. Aggressive when he needs to be, but very, very measured aggressiveness. Gets the moves made, has not put that 87 in jeopardy in any of those moves. Traffic stayed cool, calm, and collected. And right now, with just about 4 minutes to go, just a few more laps for Jagger Jones, and he may, I'm handing him nothing yet, Jeremy. He may come away with another win on the season. And I say I'm not handing anything yet, because let's think back to last year at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, where we saw Jagger have a great run, actually 2 great runs, and neither one of them ended well.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, don't dwell on the past, dwell on the future, look forward.
Exactly.
For Stephen Argacardi, some recompense having the fastest lap of the race, ergo a new lap record, because this is the first time the VP Racing SportsCar Challenge has competed here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So 1 minute 17.696 for Argacardi, but it's kind of a case of what might have been. But you know, he's got a healthy championship lead. We've already talked about that. So a second place finish here would be just fine for his championship aspirations.
Absolutely. Argacardi stays measured, stays focused. He dropped back, then worked his way back up to the second position, and at one point in time I thought he might fall back to even as far back as 4th, and that was where I was really thinking, hey, this is a weekend where Jagger Jones can collect a lot of points on that championship leader who is so far out in front. But Argacardi reached down deep, and perhaps his car just got better throughout for Miguel Villagomez aboard the 23, out of the keel right now, down the back straightaway. He had said, I think we've got a good car on long runs. And now looking back on this race, Jeremy, I think it was really good for about, we'll call it halfway to 2/3 of the way through. And now it seems to perhaps be losing some of that pace that it had at the midway point.
Who?
The 23.
23. Yeah, well, actually, the only reason I said who is because he's just turned his best lap of the race.
Well, there you go.
Fact,
maybe everybody else has just gotten that much better.
Well, they have, because the pace has been quickening. We've been talking about it, haven't we, over the last several laps? The fastest lap overall of the race has been trading between Jagger Jones and Stephen Argacardi. Argacardi has it at the moment. Jagger Jones just turned his best lap this last time around at a 117.9. So, you know, the track is clearly, as you talked about earlier on, it's rubbering in, more rubber laid down, and they're finding pace. A lot of these contenders turning their best laps now at this stage in the race, even though we're just over 1.5 minutes remaining.
Well, and we said at the very beginning, you know, when we were talking about the track with a little lack of grip, feeling that in the morning, that with the sun on the racetrack, it was going to more than likely be better later in the day as it kind of got a little bit heat soaked. And I say heat soaked, it is far from hot outside by any stretch of the imagination. We've got a really good racetrack to work with, and I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing those lap times as quick as they are.
Yeah, that's I completely agree. Is Jesse Lazar running in a 3rd position then, completely on his own right now. He's almost 20 seconds behind Josh Green, who's doing a really nice job in that phase. Mercedes running in 2nd place. We've hardly seen the car. That's because he's pretty much been on his own all the time, but he's lost no ground over the course of the last 20 laps or more to the overall leader in the class, Luca Mars. It's the white flag for our race leader.
2.2 miles. Yep, 2.2 miles to go, Jeremy. And looking at the lap times, the best of 117.9 for Jagger Jones. So just over a minute to a checkered flag. What do we have left in the 87? He's got a big lead. Not time to coast, not time to cruise. Stay focused, head down, do what you've been doing that got you to this point, and he could have a perfect season so far.
Yeah,
still time to go.
Yeah. Half a lap to go there for Jagger Jones. It has been the faith being shown in by Remy Lantain, the team principal there at the number 87 car, the Remstar with Fast MD Racing, and he's repaid that confidence in spades here. Looking at win number 3, just 2 or 3 corners to go now for Jagger Jones. Meanwhile, it's Stephen Agakani. He just reset fastest lap of the race last time around. Just trying to prove a point, isn't he, Agakani?
Jagger Jones may have missed the first 2 rounds of the season, but when he stepped behind the wheel of the 87 at St. Pete, he made a mark. He makes another one today. 3 for 3. Jones takes the checkered flag at Mid-Ohio. Fast MD, Rimstar, they will celebrate here in Central Ohio. And what about Luca Mars as well? Ford Mustang victorious in the hands of that young man. And for Luca Mars, the championship lead will get extended as Jesse Lazar will bring his McLaren home in 3rd, and that is going to extend Luca Mars' championship, but we still have a long way to go in this season.
Yeah, it'll be at the end of tomorrow's race will be a halfway point in the championship, so still a long way to go. This will bring Jagger Jones closer, obviously, to Stephen Agakani, but he's still got a lot of ground to make up. Agakani will extend his championship lead over Miguel Villagomez in the bronze category with the win today in that class, and the 3rd position overall for Miguel Villagomez. That will move him ahead of Brian Thenis, who had held the lead in the Bronze Cup points coming into this weekend. Brian finishing in 8th position today, but that was a perfect drive for Jagger Jones.
Absolutely perfect. We talk about controlled aggression, didn't put a wheel wrong in traffic on. I'd say with 2 to go, I watched him try to go around Angus Rogers, headed into the keyhole, and he went to the inside, flashed his lights. The gap began to close a little bit. He thought better of it and said, you know what? I'm in a good position. I don't need this right now. So not only good decisions behind the wheel as far as the driving line, finding the speed, but good decisions working through traffic. And that is what makes not only race-winning drivers, but championship-winning drivers as well, Jeremy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to see from a young driver. I mean, you know, he's we talked about earlier on. He's made his early part of his career in the open wheel ranks, moving now. Well, actually started off in stock cars before that, but you know, sports cars is a relatively new discipline for Jagger Jones. So he's just gaining experience and gaining in all the right ways as well. And of course, winning helps that because it just boosts the confidence. And he's a confident young man. He comes from a racing family, of course, and we can see those genes now at full display. Driving this number 87 car for the Rimstar Fast MD team.
Well, you know, the victory for Jagger, I know it's special, especially with his grandfather, a legend in motorsport. You think about Parnelli Jones, the things that he did. Look at that, first to qualify over 150. Just a legendary career, not only in Indy cars, but in stock cars. Everything he touched was special. Godspeed, Parnelli. Just be proud of your grandson today. Car's headed now to victory lane. And Jagger Jones, that sweet taste of victory, and they don't come any more special than this one, Jeremy. Like I said, I think with the memory of his grandfather and the dominant drive that he put in today, this is one that Jagger will remember for a long time.
Yeah, he will. I mean, you know, he's fully focused on his racing. Of course, his granddad will be so proud of him now, looking down. And yeah, that was just that's the way that you make a name for yourself. Tough times for tough times this week. A lot of emotions pouring through for Jagger Jones, but he comes back strong, focuses on the job at hand, and absolutely achieves it today with this superb flag-to-flag win in round 5 of the VP Racing SportsCar Challenge. And he'll be back again tomorrow to try and do the same again.
Yeah, round 6 tomorrow from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Great racing today. 45 minutes of green flag sports car racing at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Congratulations to Jagger Jones. Great job by him. Stephen Agakani fighting back, holding on to his championship lead. And Luca Mars keeps Josh Green behind him, and not the best day for Jesse Lazar, but hey, he comes away with a good podium finish as well. The fans got to see a good one. You'll see another one tomorrow. It's VP Racing Sports Car Challenge, round 6 from Mid-Ohio.